Call the City Council policy session to order tonight at 7:06 p.m., Tuesday, September 6, 2016. Present tonight is Councilman Porter, Councilman Wilden, Councilman Barch. Invocation we'll have, and then we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. One.
The Pledge of Allegiance of I pledge the United States of America, one nation for all.
We have a presentation.
It's my police officer for the police officer, Mason Morgan, to come up. And we're IU and UVU recently at the UVU speaks fluent French, so perhaps that'll come in handy. Get some refugees from the Middle East, some of those speak French. Elsa have a 6-month-old parents are here with us today. Out front here with Officer Morgan. This is the Springs Police Department. The police of the Saratoga valor, fidelity, and ability. In view of these qualities, and he is appointed as a police officer effective 16, given us signed Jim Miller. Yeah, the only other thing, badge, and she's going to bring it up and do this. You can put that right. A little scary sometimes. That thing is
Okay, we have to express ideas, concerns, respectful in your comments. Community plan amendment. Public input. And I will, seeing no, close the public input. Reports. Councilman Porter.
Since we've had time to do these, that I couple things, but one that they recently took a management offered through the state for crisis management. The case study was Katrina. Basically, the thing that elected officials and part-time elected in that instance, and in many to the vocabulary as well in a case of emergency. You know, given I've only been on the council for 6 months, plan was, or who was in charge since then, but maybe that, and something that some of the preparedness briefing by Chief Campbell, every work session to have a 5-minute presentation, or you know, some of the things, vocabulary that was used, there was confusion. Preparedness planning all day long. You know what, when they ask for one thing, think, oh, this is a lot. But what it really means is, you know, familiarity on our part would be whether he's willing to do that. But I think that it would be wise for us some amount of training, management. So,
Councilman Porter. At this time.
Wow, way to go, Chris.
You know, I'm sure there's something, but like, not. From that last couple of times. I guess just the train, yeah, on Saturday, and that's the public
Mark, do you have anything?
As far as reports go, for the second item on our Mayor, you missed that, but with your move that to the last item. Also, if we could move to right after the Legacy Farms, be beneficial. We have the applicant here and appreciate an early night this evening.
I'll open the public hearing. Legacy Farms.
Public hearing on potential this northern part of Legacy Farms, which is located on the road. So just to get everyone, and north is at the top of the area here. Approximates is designated within the rate map. View of the amendment will be occurring to the FEMA map. You're very familiar with it. Just for the benefit of this application, the Tickville Wash, and you can see designated as floodplain as for Legacy Farms that encapsulates and takes it out here. Now FEMA had installation of this pipe is not yet officially amended. The plan and in our city prohibits building within a floodplain. Be in the floodplain within a couple of months permits and not allowing plats. Have requested an amendment in the floodplain and begin. They're saying yes, we're going to amend to add to the community plan, build and record in a floodplain. That pipe we were talking about. One thing that has been amendment is this: that the city will not be obligated until the map has. Nutshell is that they building permits. Not take occupancy detail in your staff report. Building code standards that would, these include things like probably not numerous other things. So go back and retrofit all of at their own expense. So now find the presentative attorney, the applicant entering it into contract. If the council is staff recommends some additional conditions. Indemnify us if everything goes wrong sale so that buyers are aware of. This is Amendment 1, you public hearing on August. Forward a positive recommendation. Draft minutes in your report. Approve them, and I'm sure you noticed a few. The second, maybe. Okay. Okay, so this is also this. Mouse right in here. In community plans, ability to request some standard city code within their development. Some modified standards for window signs. So this would be up on. They're proposing the use of which signs, but only at that level. Temporary signage. Comparison between city code. Is there's also which are so here you can see the flags there but at a lower height and smaller. The city code, the signage portion itself, and one per entrance. A little top instead of keeping it at the bottom 4. 96 square feet, 100, so 4 more active development, and then allows, and they're requesting 100%. Now that recommendation from the Planning Commission. So your options with findings and Planning Commission did, you can for the floodplain if you choose, or the applicants are here and they do.
Would you like to share?
So, Kimber did
Although we know you.
D.R. Horton on the floodplain map and answer questions after we have a discussion between your contract.
that put together, and we, which in our clause that would cover floodplain if there's more issues. On use signs. This is what we were proposing. What we will just put the Legacy Farm opposite side water tower, and that's logo, which would be top of the sign. Up here on wordage would be below anything that they would need to read. Will appear on our signs on the gaping basket here. So hopefully that's, perhaps was the other thing that came up. Didn't have these pictures at that point. This is a typical office. The window wrap gives, it also hides in up close. That looks for, we're asking because it's pretty much all the furniture and everything that doesn't allow you to see in. It also, so one more time. Sales office, this would be out there on our storefronts that we're looking for. Now it would be the clubhouse. Right now we homes pick out of things so that we don't see all of that. The typical flags we've had, put them back out there. We didn't do this in any other location. Regular ordinance for just one. This is typical. This is it.
I will. The public hearing. Councilman Wilden. Sorry.
I'm Paxton Guyman. Anyway, Paxton Guyman, legal counsel. One topic regarding the time. I'm sure you're all aware. Map revision has always just in that period of time, or forever hold your peace, so to speak, set to expire on December. What we are, the condition that we will not dwelling units. Now the city has already imposed a certificate of occupancy. That is actions you need. Unit and of a transaction has expired and it's come. One of the conditions, one step further than that, certificate of occupancy, and you don't want DR Horton to even enter into a waiting period has expired. Respectfully submit to you, and should not want. You shouldn't need to start marketing these. Prepared, which is still running, and action. Issue a certificate of occupancy. Certificate of occupancy is the control. You don't need to go further these units until the waiting. Knowing that we may well have do highly unlikely situation where somebody actually challenges, consider control.
Thank you.
As the request about the contract, I closure added the intimate. Yes, quote, a hard time there. I don't have, if you're not allowed to close the transaction, we've issued occupancy. But I concerns on that item is pretty much we know what's going to happen unless some. As far as the signs goes, council members' opinions on it. I think at times we're a little more time. I don't know that I want to more developer that could, I mean, I'm comfortable that you, but I'm not comfortable that others.
A couple of questions. Kim has seen it for 30 seconds on the.
I have not yet seen a copy. That was the first right here. Pass that up. That we just place the, doesn't necessarily have to be it.
Okay, so I spoke and am here this, and you said that the local and that it was a when you talked about the waiting period, and you said yes. Having found out then through that there is in fact an appeal process, I don't believe that this is a wise, that it could go wrong. However, with homes built, you have the ability to homes sitting there empty. Enough times, unfortunately, with you, we need to change this because we've had that I am not willing to do it again. This before, if it were fully done, I'm okay with this anymore. On the signage, first of all, on land area at all herself. Architecture. So I'm going to call it that, is I think that that is, I see as part of the architecture of the tower, change that part of the code. I don't, and somebody putting a decorative, that is a problem, because it is like a sign would be on the water tower, it would be that. That being said, theory about businesses wanting to do the paint their name on the side of so I'm not quite sure how to handle that changes, because I don't think they need them. Any of the other groups, they're obviously not having a hard time selling their numbers. A couple more questions. Disallow when
Yes.
we do.
Window sign. Let me pull up. I have the code right here. One while I'm looking.
Okay. That's something we want to look at for model homes. Go for a model home to have some of that. As far as 100% coverage in other places in the city, and I know I'm not, and I will say this out during the daytime anymore, because they have on 100% of their windows, and I can't see what's going on. So I personally won't go in. Night out. So for me, and I think that our code needs to be enforced in that. You can at least see somewhat what's going on when you have. I think it's an appropriate method. And I don't think that this is written correctly. I'd like to agree with our that this is not appropriate to facilities. So that's basically it.
And to answer your question, but it is subject to window sign, which cannot exceed more than 20% of the area it's in.
Okay, so for, again then, that they have the ability to put those, that will also give them some shielding in. So for me, I am an absolute.
On the zone, I have no, it's, and that there's options can happen, but something can happen in all of us. So for a while.
For a while.
Yeah. The signage, the tower, it's more of an icon. Words, I think, protects us from other things and where you. I think I agree with it's part of the architecture. I do that I knew about the 20%, but I how extensive that was into the part of the residential as well. I see it as a safety where people can't see in them. Would be not in favor of that. I wasn't sure of the time frame, just for a grand opening, or whether it was ongoing until everything is.
Marketing going on when we vacate.
What if I add extra flagpoles, Kimber?
Yes. For a 9-month period and maybe director approval. And then there's also.
Sounds like that's permitted. Okay, I thought you were reading.
Sorry, no, that's what they're.
What they're asking.
I know, what a coincidence.
Match. We're in residential, we're
Yes.
One pole per residence,
Okay.
a flag at every single house.
Yes.
Would that be sufficient? How many models?
So currently there are 7 in different locations. We don't this is done. We don't have where they're all in one little row community. So they would be at the different locations so that you could and helps you get there. It's a wayfinding method.
So you're asking to have 3 poles in front of each model?
They won't fit. The 6 is intended for the clubhouse. There's not room.
The difficulty I have is similar mentioned with others, to the others, and to make an exception, and the others would say, well, why can't we? It's chaotic. So either, what else?
Proposed to be up to 100 square feet signs at each one of these special use.
Going from 90 to 100, I don't think that large. On a temporary basis?
What's our current code on that, Kimber? Again?
Development, yes, development is. Well, it's actually technically development. So
Mistaken, they actually took and used and put in there for a while.
in that case, so signage for the active development, whether to use the residential, yes.
So the active development
Square feet aggregate for
discussing going up 4.
Signs are in addition to. So currently you'll see house as you drive down Redwood Road. Those are the addition to that. These would be located things like grand opening this weekend. This another marketing tool so that we to the community. So if we're having some lunch, we can tell you about it, and it would only be, and we'd do a new one next.
These were
no, not during development. These are available forever for these as proposed.
And we're willing to take further on this item if that's intended to pass through for the HOA so that they HOA board meeting tonight or where it is.
I'm having a tough time permanent code. We're saying they can development, and you're asking to be able.
This would be something that could use in the future, yes. But it's very
time have accommodate HOAs. Leaning there yet, a little bit more from the others, but that is okay.
Yeah. So as to the main, Councilwoman Bart's concern our meeting. However, I would, both by the applicant and by staff, going to face in this instance. So I'm comfortable moving forward with that, or that the city attorney approved the disclosure. The sign is text. If it said Legacy Farms, now it's as anybody would consider, and so so I'm okay with that one.
Okay, meaning you don't think they need a code change to do it?
I would have to defer to. We need a code change in order to accommodate textual is sufficient.
Just a quick response to that is they wanted us to interpret it as an architectural. It just becomes a slippery slope, you know, the McDonald's spark. So it becomes very difficult for us. This containing letters, then we have to treat everybody else as just had the leaves or something artistic. That would be great, but it just, you know, picture the McDonald's M being a
right.
So,
no, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Otherwise, I'd do that originally.
I think that correct me if I'm to have some sort of decoration on it.
But originally left.
Okay.
No, originally and had the wheat shafts on it.
But when you spoke to us, it had changed again in the in-between.
I believe so.
I can't remember. I'm okay. Water tower would look silly.
I agree, but at the same time, I now to come in and say I want to.
Right.
So
No, I understand that point. I also don't want to open up logos all along their wall or.
Unfortunately, this is a use granted through state code.
Council, just to kind of, jump, reason that this became an issue was as we were going through, noticed that there was this which wasn't originally, we've talked about that in the past, calculated in the code that governs the amendment that would allow for it. So it's at that point where you can either choose group of opinions on it, but I happen to strongly that it is no different that exists with any other corporation. Revisions. Unfortunately, Kevin's unable to the language that he was recommending specifically forward and allow for them to be. Kevin is quite passionate attorney. I feel very strong, especially where he's not here to and his position. I would follow our attorney's recommendation on, unless, of course, but unfortunately he's not able to be here tonight to defend. I would, as part of those conversations, heard the arguments made both for and against from a staff's recommendation. My be to follow staff's
if this were clubhouse, I still have issues made to with four flags, but I definitely flags at every clubhouse, sales center, and the window sign for the issues that were brought up before, safety, the fact that every other home builder is able to get by. I'm having trouble with just having been in how useful that is. But that being said, no, I've even tried a little bit so that HOAs could have that ability. I don't know that HOA above every other HOA in the city we want to go down, so.
Okay.
The rest of them I have issues with.
Quick question with the logo, but it needs, they're crossed wheat. I think it looks a little plain. Floodplain, I think if we allow Kevin to, I would be fine with it because they bear the burden of it. If it was a smaller builder, I would be in line with Councilwoman Bartsch about them walking away because smaller builders have asked. I think D.R. Horton's to take that risk on, but I would issuing occupancy permits. Defer to Kevin. Pretty well.
Mayor, can I ask that we just separate those?
Okay, I will entertain.
I modified the slide so they can go ahead and do that, and then adding that the applicant shall amend the buyer disclosures, releasing the city from liability and entering into an agreement.
You can add as approved by the city.
Yes, I can.
I will entertain a separated motion.
I move to approve regarding the floodplain with the findings and conditions in the staff report.
I have a first from Councilman Porter. I have a second from Councilman. Okay, Councilman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Bartsch. 1. The remaining portion.
I move that we deny the legacy consistent with section 19. And that the previous sign code and that the and make mention signage
For the water tower. I have a first from Councilwoman. I have a second from Councilwoman Bartsch.
Aye.
Podeska.
Aye.
Motion passes 3. Okay. We'll move on to, and then it's been requested by council that we take Madison Meadows preliminary plat.
1 second.
Okay.
Mayor and council, this is a discussion on a preliminary plat. Planning Commission held a public hearing on this item with some conditions. Not a public hearing. Now this is located at the intersection closer near Evans. That we are looking at is 6 to place a residential for the water pond development or Mountain View Corridor, and then also in the site. I did approve a rezone density residential, and so this application applies with the standards of through conditions, and that includes in order to comply or additional minor items. The application is also 11,000 square feet of open for the remainder. your options are to, in your findings and conditions in the staff, have to deal with the HOA. Due to public comment, this now, there was a use to put a note on the barriers that they are near agriculture being hauled and dust and cow there. That it does conflict with the plat, we'll handle that. And then also the conditions of the real estate purchase agreement in today. So with that, to the council for discussion, the applicant, do you have any questions?
You can stand if you want to.
It seems like particular project, and there was some question. And other discuss.
Councilman Wilden?
I don't have. I think we're.
Councilman?
There were just two conditions that two lots that are on either side. Yes. 201, that is driveway as far away from the intersection as possible. The other one across the street on the southern, yes. And then there were one other condition. Those were the only two concerns, really.
Councilman Porter?
No, I think that the condition listed as well as the arch good ones. So I'm
Okay. Before?
It was just that. Thank you, by the way, for adding those notes, the agricultural, but also that not just be added sales stuff, contract, the other developments.
I'll move that Madison
Okay, I have a first from Councilman.
and the condition.
Okay, I have a first. Any further discussion?
Additional conditions.
Tonight?
Yeah.
We had that.
I have an amended first, amended second.
I just want to make sure Cindy got
Barch? Wilden?
Aye.
Porter?
Aye.
Councilman Wilden. So
You weren't supposed to say